Here we are in the Upper Taiari catchment near the Loganburn Reservoir. The climate in this area here is generally quite hot and dry in the summer, but in the winter it's quite cold and damp. These tussocks here are a really important part of the hydrology of the Taiari catchment. They are exquisitely adapted to harvest water out of fog and low cloud. The water vapor just collects along these stems and flows down to the bottom of the plant and then flows into the ground and becomes runoff. The topography here is very hilly with lots of gullies, and these gullies contain wetland plants. And what's happened over many thousands of years is that these wetland plants have built up a big layer of peat. Here's an example of the peaty material that this plant lays down. This material is fibrous organic matter, and over thousands of years this is just deposited as new plants grow on top of old plants, creating a big thick peat layer. And you can see how brown it is as well. This is what gives the Taiari River its characteristic brown color, is the humic acids that come out of these peatlands. This is the sponge. This is the sponge that will retain the winter moisture and slowly release it throughout the year and maintain the flows in the Taiari River through the dry periods.
This landscape here really is fundamental to what happens further downstream, particularly in the areas where we're trying to sustain livelihoods and community and agricultural food security. These systems up here, they're capturing the water that we need further downstream.
The climate models are suggesting that the winters will become a bit warmer but also wetter, and that the summers will become drier and hotter, and this will just exacerbate or make the seasonal changes that we have up here even more extreme. So in terms of runoff coming off the land into the rivers and lakes, we should see more of that in winter and less of that in the summer. With the increasing temperatures that climate change has already brought, the wetlands are already under threat. There's been changes in precipitation, changes in the amount of snow cover in the winter, the amount of ice, and all of these affect the water balance and these wetland habitats. If these drier summers actually end up drying up some of these gullies and they no longer become wetlands, but they become invaded by dryland species, maybe more woody species, we could lose this functionality, this wetland functionality, which is so important for the hydrology of the Taiari River system. With the predicted increases in the intensity of high rainfall events, this could allow trout to invade into the holdouts of our threatened eldens and dusky galaxids, eventually potentially wiping out populations of these species. Climate change is going to dry out these habitats more in the summer months, and this could actually lead to a change in the vegetation, with the encroachment of more woody vegetation, replacing some of the tussocks. And this could result in there being more fire risk.
As land managers, we need to think about how we manage the land to make sure those hydrological processes stay intact. So we know that the tussocks and those wetlands are super important, and we need to maintain those. So keeping stock out of wetland areas and preventing tussock loss through burning and the invasion of woody trees as the climate warms up will be really important. Plant control for your wilding conifers, for example, would be really critical to maintaining those tussock lands and keeping that hydrological process intact.